Heads up! This podcast contains infrequent informal language. Please proceed with due caution.
This is Prompt Songs Podcast. I don't want to say it's been a while because it has, but I also say that at the start of every podcast now. Welcome back to the show. We had a bit of a break and we're bringing it all back to you now, baby. That's an S Club 7 reference.
Bring it on back now. Definitely don't stop and never give up.
You got to reach for the stars, Adam. Sam, you got to do one now.
The only reason why I know all these is because I got an S Club prompt the other month.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd be clueless as.
S Club. That's the only bit. This ain't
no party like an S Club party.
Sam, don't stop moving.
Can you feel the
But
music?
I have a sore back.
We're all adults now. How depressing. Cool. Should we jump right into it?
Sure.
I will volunteer myself to go first. My first prompt was from Sam. It was pop punk. He specifically said early 2000s because that's kind of when it came into popularity. So it's pop punk, and the lyrics were it had to be about a breakup because there's no pop punk songs ever about breakups. So my one is called I Don't Care About You, brackets, I Do.
Jack, you were my Jill. Things got heavy at the top of the hill. That's where it all started. But now we're back, this ain't no drill. Heavy talking at the top of the hill. This is where it all ended. Oh yeah, you left me all alone again. But maybe I was over you. Oh yeah, you're out on the run again. But you're only running from the truth. Our summer days were very nice. Just seeing you could make the whole world turn bright. That's where it all started. But days would pass, turn cold as ice. Good conversation turning into rough fights. This is where it all ended. Oh yeah, left me all alone again. But maybe I was over you. Oh yeah, you're out on the run again. But you're only running from the truth.
That was cool. Well done.
Yeah, no, that was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. I reckon you're really, your singing sounded really strong.
See, I kind of disagree with that because I've made the mistake of like emulating the band that was in my mind,
Right.
And especially during that bridge, their
Was
bass
it Beat
guitarist.
Crusaders?
Yeah, it totally was Beat Crusaders
Oh, okay.
I wrote that down.
with a little bit of Billy Joe Armstrong in the chorus. Yeah, their bass guitarist usually takes
Oh,
the
yeah.
bridge, and his voice is higher.
Maybe because I don't listen to Beat Crusaders, it just sounds like, oh, cool.
Two things. First, yeah, that's probably why. And two, why aren't you listening to Beat Crusaders, Sam?
I think it did sound like Beat Crusaders, but it was also really cool. So, like, I don't think those things are, like, separated in any way.
Well, because we're talking about the band, yeah, there's a Japanese band, surprise, surprise, I listened to a Japanese band, called Beat Crusaders, and they had two phases where they were a 4-piece, then everyone except the main guy left, and they became a 5-piece, and they are, like, my favourite pop punk, because pop punk for me was early 2000s, labels were like, I wonder what all the kids like. And all the kids were like, Ramones, The Clash, all these great punk bands. And the labels were like, oh, great, punk would sell, but let's take everything fun about punk and ruin it. And so Beat Crusaders is not that. Beat Crusaders is fun music.
Right.
In the best possible way. So yeah, that was kind of in my head when I made this song. And as I mentioned before, the bridge, I changed the voice quite a bit because the bassist of the second phase of Beat Crusaders would take the bridge, and he has quite a higher voice.
I like that bit. Is that the repeat it faster bit?
Yeah, the earwormy bit.
Yeah. That made me think a little bit of like Split Ends or like New Wavy kind of bands.
Probably because of the synth I added to it,
Yeah.
which was very second phase Beat Crusaders.
Oh,
Well,
right.
I actually wrote down Poly 6 because I was like, that kind of like tremolo I thought was really like something that I'd heard from the couple of songs I've listened from them.
I think that synth sound there specifically is the very basic, like Sawtooth, just really cranked up.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Nice.
the last episode I did that song about the Scottish band, about the breakup. And I like to imagine that this song is a very angsty teenager who's had his first love and it didn't work out. And he's like, oh, I didn't even want to be with you anyway.
It's pretty much every punk pop / emo song.
I suffered so much for the guitar sound on this one because on the run through I did before I added the drums, I like put my guitar into some pedals and then straight into the computer and did an emulation for a amp.
Oh, yeah.
And then when I re-recorded the guitar, I put it through an actual amp, and I was like, no, this doesn't sound right. So then I tried to remember which pedals I put through, and of course, you've got your guitar, and then you've got the pickups you're using, and I couldn't remember if I was in rhythm or lead, because I've got a Fender Jaguar,
Right.
and then I couldn't remember if I was using an overdrive or if I was just using a drive, and then I couldn't remember what settings on the amp I was using. And eventually I settled on the one that I got in the end.
Yeah, I really like the guitar tone.
Yeah. And yeah, it sounded good. I think the whole like instrumentation sounded good. The arrangement sounded good with the time signature. Well, not time signature. Tempo changes and
Yeah.
that was cool.
I think like normally tempo changes like disjoint the song, but I think in this song it kind of really suited because it was
Yeah.
just like kicking it up for the
And
choruses.
it is a
like,
bit of a pop punk trope as well, I think. Something that they do.
It's also what I do when I can't figure out how to go between tempos. Because
okay.
I wrote the chorus chords after I'd gotten the verse, dun, 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 that kind of thing, and I was like, well, that's very Beat Crusaders. And then I was like, but the Beat Crusaders do fast choruses. So yeah,
Yeah.
I did a similar thing with my Who song, and it just seemed to work.
It was interesting because last night Tanya and I were actually listening to a early 2000s rock playlist just by chance, and
Oh, yeah.
there's definitely a distinct tonality to it. Like the guitar sounds are so
Clean, but
Clean,
still
but
heavy.
heavy
Yeah,
at the
it's
same
a
time.
safe heavy. Yeah. That's what I was talking about before with the labels being like, well, what kids like punk? Let's make the lyrics about things that aren't punk at all and make the
Yeah.
guitars not sound harsh and make it sound really clean because punk is clean, right?
But I think it's also because it's so tight. You know what I mean? Like everything's
Yeah,
so
it's very
clean and
produced.
yeah.
Yeah, whereas back in the Ramones days, it was like a mic on each instrument, including the drums, and it sounds like a garage band.
Yeah.
And it's the rawness of it. You get the real energy from it, whereas in the early 2000s, it's overproduced. So it sounds technically good, but it's kind of lifeless at the same time. Unless you get bands like Green Day, who kind of, Billy has that angsty delivery, which is why Green Day do so well.
Yeah. Cool.
One thing I noticed was you played bass on like 2 and 4, and whenever that happens, it's like, I don't know, I suddenly like the song even more because I realized I did that in one of my songs as well. Playing bass on 2 and 4 for me is just like,
during the intro bit, right? Yeah, because I had that guitar riff written out, and then I was like,
yeah,
the bass can't just do like one note held, and so when I was playing the drums, I put the kick, and I was like, oh, Adam's gonna love this.
yeah. There's another part where you might have repeated that section or something in the middle, and I was like, yeah, bass on 2 and 4, man. I'm just like, I don't know when.
That second time I added organ bass as well, so it's 3 things: the kick, the bass, and the organ.
Oh,
2 and 4 is where it's at. Yeah.
cool. Yeah, great
Cool.
work.
Sam, you look like you want to go next, and we definitely didn't pre-arrange that or listen to my last song twice because of technical issues.
Yeah, sure, we can go on to mine. So this was a prompt. Oh, I think I got this prompt out of the eggs, and it was, my genre was hip hop. Definitely something I am good at and used to doing. Jokes.
See, you joke about that, but I think you're going to nail this.
I don't know, we'll see. It was definitely a struggle. Like, Tanya definitely poked her head in the door a couple of times when I was just like, man, just mucking up takes, because I do actually rap in this. And
Oh, hell yeah.
I reckon Tanya was sticking her head through the door going, oh man, Sam's spitting some fresh raps, man.
Not
she had her
right.
cap on backwards, and
She would have stepped in the room and been like, where's super hot fire?
it's definitely got blah, blah, blah. That's probably the main thing that connects it to hip hop. Other than that, it's actually quite a minimalistic track, mainly because I didn't have much time. And
some of the best hip hop songs are. Gorillaz
Yeah.
are kings of like both overdoing it and stripping it back to the basics.
But
Clint
yeah.
Eastwood's very simple.
it's probably a little bit more on the side of like neo soul, kind of like Tom Mitch sort of vibes than actual hip hop. But yeah, anyway. Oh, and the lyric prompt was a letter to a friend.
So what's the song called, Sam?
Currently, a letter to a friend, and the angle of it is like a letter to. Or it's basically you've lost touch with someone because you've been busy. You know, life gets in the way.
It's been a while since we've been in the same room. Been meaning to write you, I hope to head back soon. I know I suck at keeping touch. I know it's all been too much. I hope you're good, hope you're happy and healthy. I hope you're not cut up waiting to it from me. I've been there the whole time, though I'm really on the line. Thinking back to when I saw you every day. Life just knows how to get in the way. Losing track of the time. I know I need to call cause it's out of line. That I made you wait this long. You know I won't say I'm wrong. You always say that it's okay. You understand that life gets in the way. But looking back at the end, I could have been a better friend. Thinking of the things that I should say. You know I'm not trying to push you away.
Okay, so you guys at home can't really see. The moment that the post-chorus instrumental came up, the look on my face made Sam crack up twice. And for me, when it got to that point in the song, that was like me coming up to dinner and being like, oh, fucking lasagna, fuck yeah! That's what I can equate it to. I heard it and I got excited.
Was it like a little flute sound or something?
Yeah, it was. It's called a mellotron, but it's a flute.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Mellotron,
Yeah.
but it's actually a sample of a mellotron from Logic. Yeah.
And
Right,
a
right.
mellotron uses samples.
Oh, okay.
I believe the mellotron is a keyboard, but it uses a tape loop inside to produce
Right.
sounds. Yeah. I really like the way that the verses are quite like understated and very steady, but they're quite like low in terms of the frequency spectrum. And then when you get to the chorus and you bring in the guitar strum, it opens up and it becomes very colourful. That was really cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, I love funky guitar strumming as well. So maybe I need to like make a new genre of music where it's funky guitar strumming and bass playing on 2 and 4.
Yeah.
I just need to like, okay, now what do I like in the lyrics and what do I like in, and then just make it some weird new genre. But yeah, the verse groove, like that kind of minimal, like funky stuff is like
Kind of struts.
yeah, it's just like all groove pretty much, and then like it's like a unison line, but it's just like all groove. What was that Arctic Monkeys song we played?
Why'd you only call me when you're high?
Call me when you're high? Yeah,
Right.
Kind of reminded me of that in terms of like it's just like this one line that's like grooving hard, or like what's that school shootings song?
Foster the People, yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
The most funky song about murder ever.
Yeah, I think I just came up with that bass line. I actually made that quite a while ago and then just finished it off today, but I was really close to going in a different direction because I was struggling to get through the lyrics out that fast. I was going to make it like a different groove and so I could sing it slower, but it worked out. I'm glad I stuck with it because, yeah.
That's something I really admire in hip-hop and rap, especially, is I'm quite word-heavy with my own work. And with rap, you really got to time the breaths. Because, like, you think as a rapper, oh, wow, they're thinking about words. Yeah, they're thinking about words, but they're also thinking about, okay, I'm running out of breath.
Yeah.
I've got to put a breath in
I think I
here.
did the whole first 4 stanzas in one breath.
Ooh,
I was
damn.
thinking about it, but it's not that long. It's not that much time. It's only like 15 seconds.
Okay, we get it, Sam. You got great
The whole
lung
song's
capacity. Jeez.
the whole song's quite short. Actually, I didn't even know how long it was until I just opened it on my phone just now.
Yeah, I looked at it and I was like, I haven't seen Sam do songs this short since the pilot.
Yeah,
But hey, a long song isn't necessarily a good song.
and I guess
I mean, I can find more examples where like better songs are longer, like Echoes by Pink Floyd and Shine on You Crazy Diamond by Pink Floyd and anything else by Pink Floyd. But
every Pink Floyd song.
every Pink Floyd song. What bike? It's under 3 minutes? This must suck. No, it doesn't. That's very good. Cool.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Thanks, guys.
I like that. I like the hand claps. Really, like
Oh.
They're,
clap.
they're your little pad thing, aren't
they
they?
were, they were way too uniform.
You weren't going to throw in a yeah.
Yeah.
No, I had actually that was another Logic sound, but
Oh, all right.
I was using my MIDI keyboard to play it. I think that was quantized as well. I just played it, made a loop, quantized it, but everything else was not quantized. It was just the drums that I did, just to give it that, like, I don't know. I think most hip hop has that sort of quantized drum sound that's super consistent.
Either that or a very technical drummer.
Yep. Yeah. It's either very drum complex or very drum minimal.
Very true, yeah. I could also see Vulfpeck doing this because they do a lot with minimal arrangement as well.
Good thing about minimal arrangements is they don't take very long to record.
Unless you're a perfectionist and you do like 50 takes on the vocals.
Which I actually ended up doing pretty much.
Oh yeah.
Hey guys, as we're recording it, it's late September, so you know what event is coming up in a month's time?
What event, Ryan?
Halloween!
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that, Ryan, because my next song is actually about Halloween. That was the
No
lyric
way.
prompt. Yeah, and so this was a prompt from Ryan, actually, so maybe he did know, and that's why he brought up Halloween. So the lyric prompt was Halloween, and the band was Sex Bomb, which is like a fictional band from a movie called Scott Pilgrim versus the World, which is like a Edgar Wright movie that's based on a comic book. Yeah.
And it's a very good movie. It just got announced as being released in 4K, which would look amazing.
Awesome.
Sex Bomb is a fictional band in that film with a very specific sound.
Let's see if I got it.
Have you called it something?
It's called Halloween in all capitals. You can listen out to in the bridge. In the bridge, I play bass on 2 and 4
Nice.
because that's what I like.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I rarely do this on the show because I think it's tacky to clap when there's two people in the room, but... Hey, Adam, I'm holding a baseball. I'm holding a... Hey!
Nice, that was so cool.
Oh, thanks, guys.
That was awesome.
There's certain things that aren't very Sex Bomb about it. Like they wouldn't do like a really melodic verse like that. I don't think.
I think you took the concept and you made it your own, and that's only to be applauded.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
The way you sung that, it was kind of like, it brought me back to the Red Hot Chili Peppers song that you did. Similar vocal style, but a bit more clearer up here. And I think that really suits your voice.
Yeah,
That
I
kind
think
of
so
singing.
too.
I haven't sang for a long time, and so I was basically just kind of yelling, and I just ruined my voice the other day doing that. But yeah.
The sacrifices we make for our art.
Yeah. No, it was cool.
Well, like when I was like, "Oh, Ryan, can you record some drums on this? It's 220 BPM. Play some punk drumming." And he was like, "Oh, good, the RSI drumming." And I was like, "Yeah." Some people make sacrifices for their art. I just make my friends make their sacrifices instead.
The 3 songs I did work on for this episode, that was the most fun to drum to, because I just had 2 drums and I was just going ding da 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 da.
Oh, yeah.
Da. But I had like the basic track that Adam had sent me just so I could get the tempo and the feel of it. And when we got to that middle section, I was like, oh, cool, this is like a transformation thing. And then he says in the song, this is the transformation part of the song. And that really reminds me of all the demos I ever make, which is like, this is the guitar solo goes here. And then anytime I hear that song back, even when it's finished, I end up just doing that instead.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's because in that Sex Bomb song, Threshold, they start playing, and then Scott Pilgrim just goes, "This is the beginning of the song." So I was like, oh, yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, when you sent that to me, it just started, but you gave me the tempo, so I knew when to start. And every Sex Bomb song starts with a, "We are Sex Bomb," and then some sort of statement like, "And we're here to make you feel bad about things. 1, 2, 3, 4." So I'm glad you got the count off in. But if it's Halloween, what would you say before that, if you were the drummer in Sex Bomb?
Oh, I don't know. I was kind of like, do I want to put that on the start of my song because I'm not Sex Bomb, so I don't want to claim it, you know. But I don't know. Do you have any ideas?
I kind of want to make a COVID joke because of masks, but I feel like everyone's sick of COVID, rather ironically. Sick of COVID. Something about candy. But I think I sent you one over Insta message. We are Sex Bomb, and we are here to eat candy and fuck shit up. Trick or treat, motherfucker. 1, 2, 3, 4. What would you do, Sam?
Instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, just go, "Eat sweet treats now." Come in.
That's so Sam. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Oh, yeah, in my notes, and I also wrote a big love heart just because I love the song so much.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I love the
the-
instrument choices too, like the organ, and organ's just such a Halloween-y sort of sounding instrument.
Yeah,
eh?
I guess it's like Phantom of the Opera,
Yeah.
kind of like...
And that riff of dun 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 is on an organ, so...
Oh, yeah. The lyrics are about this guy who gets bit, and then he turns into a goblin.
Oh, cool.
And
I love Spider-Man.
the Green Goblin.
He gets bitten by a radioactive goblin, right?
And yeah, the idea is like, you know, on Halloween, not all the kids who are running around are actually like kids in costumes. Some of them are just actually monsters.
Right.
Well, see, there's a really cool... I'm going to nerd out here. There's a really cool scene in the last Harry Potter book, which is we see the full flashback of, spoiler alert, Voldemort killing Harry's parents. And it's Halloween. And some kid bumps into Voldemort,
Oh, yeah.
who by that stage is deformed in the face. It's not in the films, because, you know, why put the good shit in the films? They bump into Tom Riddle, as he was at the time, and his face was deformed, and the kid's like, "Oh, nice costume, mister." And Voldemort has his hand on the wand going, "One flick, that's all it takes."
I remember that part. Yeah, and so like the idea is like some of them are actually goblins, and if you get bitten by one, you become a goblin, and then you can only come out on Halloween because that's the only time when people won't like recoil at you or whatever. Yeah.
and then you get played by Willem Dafoe, and he says iconic lines like, I'm something of a green goblin myself, or something like that. That was awesome.
Yeah, great stuff.
Hello, Ryan Eddie Hale here. If you're enjoying the show and want to stay updated, please feel free to follow us on whichever platform you're listening to this on. Also, if you would like to know when the next episode goes live, or want to receive relevant updates, plus lyrics and photos from each recording, make sure to follow our social pages on Facebook, Instagram, and Reddit. Furthermore, if you search Prompt Songs Recommendations into Spotify, we've set up playlists for each episode with a list of all the music that we've mentioned or recommended for easy access. Now, back to the show.
So my second song, I believe I was given the prompt from the Eggs. Rest in peace, we've retired the Eggs and we've upgraded to Tins. We are not sponsored by Skittles, throwback. And I got Dream Pop, and the lyric prompt was, I can use whatever words from page 57 of novels. And this presented somewhat of a problem for me because I read ebooks for the majority of what I read now because I work and I don't have space to be carrying around novels as much as I love paperbacks. So when you get an ebook, they don't use page systems, and of course if you change the font, then that puts it on a different page technically. So what I was limited to, I put the rule on for myself. I was going to be limited to actual paperbacks that I own. So there's a lot of lyrics by Arthur C. Clarke and Stephen King. Because that's pretty much all I own. But there are 5 novelists who ended up being the co-authors of this song. I merely get a credit for assembling the lyrics. Dream Pop is a really fun genre. It's kind of like a sibling to one I did in the pilot, Shoegaze. I like to imagine it as it's ambience but with a beat. So it's very soundscapey. The lyrics are mixed very low, and it's just meant to invoke dreams. Dream pop, so it's catchy and more major than minor, but very atmospheric. And that's all I'll say for now. I got a new 12 string because I was a good boy this year. Made by Jansen. She's called Daphne and she's beautiful. And all the guitars except for the bass are my 12 string.
was really nice.
Thank you. Before we talk about it, I'd just like to give credit to the authors in the book that I got those from. So there were a few books which page 57 gave me all those lyrics. So Arthur C. Clarke's The Fountains of Paradise and The Sentinel from the same author. Roger Lancelin Green's classic King Arthur book. Stephen King's The Green Mile and his short story collection Full Dark No Stars. C.S. Lewis's The Chronicles of Narnia, the complete edition, so that will be from the very first book. And New Zealand author Anna Smale, or Smile, I'm not sure how to pronounce her name, with her novel The Chimes, which coincidentally is a book with a lot of music in it, so that was handy.
So where was the line, "My mind is suitably boggled"? Where was that from?
I believe that was from Full Dark No Stars by Stephen King.
Nice.
Are you gonna quiz me? Because the only ones I'm absolutely sure of is Everything in Due Time Paul is an Arthur C. Clarke one, Tears Like Tiny Diamonds is a Stephen King one, and then of course, then for the first time the witch spoke. It's the witch from Narnia.
Oh, okay. No, that's just that line, because I was like, what a funny line. I wonder where that's from.
Yeah. I don't even know what it means. It's kind of like a nonsense song just because I've assembled it all. And it was really hard to sing to it because I did the music first, which was quite a mistake. I should have compiled the lyrics and then kind of built the music around it. But for everyone who's unsure about what I was singing about, because it's very hard to hear what I'm singing on purpose, you can check out the lyrics on our social pages. I don't have time. I do have time to read them all out here, but I'm not going to because fuck you.
Yeah, I like the first thing, is it Daphne, the guitar?
Yeah, my pretty
Sounded
Daphne.
really nice.
It was her with a chorus pedal and a delay pedal mainly.
And also all the bells and sort of
Gave it a really
dreamy kind of effects,
yeah.
Would you guys believe that's because it's a dream pop song and that's that's why I tried to do, yeah.
Well, you met the brief, so that was great.
Oh, good. Yeah, both songs I used, I think, 3 synths or keyboards each. I don't know why. It just lots of organ work and ambient soundscapes.
Yeah, the background kind of twinkling away on the keys was a really dreamy quality to it, I think.
That's what I kind of do whenever there are calls for a keyboard. I don't have parts specifically written unless it's a lead part. So the things that you heard, that was all just improvised over the scale.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And anything that stands out doesn't make the cut, in a bad way. Anything that stands out in a good way, I kind of learn and try and repeat it. But yeah, I really like with the song how I have kind of a very gentle verse, and then I keep on pushing it, and then when you get to the chorus, bam, you get 4 12 strings just with me going,
Wonderful.
because that's kind of what shoegaze and dream pop is for me. It's just a wall of noise at the chorus, and you just kind of sit there and experience it and go, wow, that's a lot of noise. You guys can see the lyrics in front of you. I kind of have an idea about what story it could be. It's kind of about a guy who meets a witch and then she casts a spell on him and it does something, and the guy who we're experiencing it through, he's being pestered by Paul for some reason. Everything in due time, Paul. And you can tell why I picked those lines is because they're all something to do with something visual or something ethereal.
Yeah. So they can all be metaphors for something, but...
Exactly, yeah. But there's definitely... the witch line is from C.S. Lewis, of course. But then I've got that line, a wink is not part of the ritual, which I'm pretty sure is Stephen King. And ritual and witch, they just go hand in hand.
When I first saw Everything in Due Time, Paul, I was like, did you do Frank Herbert's June?
See, I've got the digital version of that. I don't have a paperback or a hardcover.
Oh, yeah.
It could have been a Paul McCartney memoir.
True.
Cool.
Yeah, I like how you've structured all the lyrics from all those things, and I think repeating the lines was a really good idea to kind of
Cut corners, yeah.
Well, I mean, anchor it a bit more, I think, because if you just pick a lot of different lines, then it ends up kind of being harder to understand, I think. But, repetition kind of helps people understand things, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially when you're doing a dreamlike state. And I remember early on, before I'd even written it, you and I were messaging, and I was like, I don't know how exactly I'm going to do this. And you were like, just take every single page of 57 and then rearrange them. So you're literally just writing a song, but with extra steps.
Right.
Yeah, basically getting a subset of the dictionary. These are all on page 57. But
these are the words you're allowed to use.
That would have been a bit cheaty though, but
It would have been a lot of work as well.
Oh, yeah.
And also when you're using a specific page, then you get character names. And for the most part, if you're writing a song, you don't really want characters unless you can form a narrative. Everything in Due Time Paul just kind of worked because I was like, I can see how that would work as a lyric. So in my mind, it's Paul McCartney.
Nice. Well, you're the songwriter, so whatever you say it's about is what it's about.
This could be our discussion because I disagree with that statement. I think you can write something with something in mind, but for the most part, I don't think you should encourage that to be the definition of the song.
Right.
Because I think a lot of people listen to songs and interpret it in their own ways, and that can be kind of magical. Unless you take music kind of like Charles Manson, in which case, no, you're definitely wrong. The Beatles did not call for a race war.
Yeah, I definitely see that too. I think art is to be interpreted. Like there's no set in stone thing. Like once it's made, it's there for someone else to paint in their own mind what it means.
Exactly, yeah. I have a solo song called Hay Fever, and that to me is a double meaning song, literally about hay fever, and also it's an allegory for feeling down in a happy month. But if someone came to me with a third meaning, I'd be like, yeah, if that's true of you, then that's what it means to you. I don't know what's a third way you could take hay fever to mean, though.
maybe it's someone talking to their high temperature. Hey,
Hay fever. Yeah. Or maybe it could be like about a sexcapade on a farm.
Hay fever.
Anytime you smell hay, you get aroused.
Just
But hot under the
gotta
collar.
make it a disco song. Hey, fever. Stop getting me up.
No, I've just got in my head Elvis just going, Hay fever, Las Vegas. Sam.
Yeah. So this is my prompt from Adam, I believe, and it is AC/DC, and also Akadaka. And the lyric prompt was drugs and violence, which is pretty full on.
I picked those lyric prompt because I think it really suits your personality, Sam.
It does, yeah. So much so that anytime anyone's called Sam, I'm like, that reminds me of my druggy friend Sam.
He's also very violent.
Well, actually,
I wasn't going to mention it, but I was afraid to get violent to us.
I found a way around it in the sense that in the song, the violence is being done to the singer, to me.
Oh,
So-
Oh, you're a victim.
Victim of violence, not the violent person. But it's open to interpretation, actually, because
Because we talked about it with the last song.
but also the person gets really high and then pisses people off and gets beat up, and then takes more drugs to numb the pain, and then it happens again. It's like
I see. So it's about a climber climbing Everest, and people don't want him to climb it, so they get angry, and then there's an avalanche, and he gets injured, so he goes to the hospital, and they give him drugs, and he's like, oh, I feel great, and he does it again, and it's just an endless cycle.
yeah, it's just a cycle of self-medicated drugs to numb the pain, but then they end up like unconsciously like pissing people off. So anyway,
Cool. Shall we have a listen?
sure.
Feeling easy, swinging my hands around. The man's phasing, body shakes in the crowd. Have a name ring and amongst the thunderous sound. I feel my head bump down to the cold ground.
And I don't know why the back of my head hurts. Must have drifted to rocky waters.
Now a fist hits the guts, I feel sick. And a foot in the shin, they don't quit. Down and out, all alone, on the floor. Dizziness, close my eyes, this is it. Next day, gotta numb the pain. Take this, it'll go away. Float away, lose control of what I say. The next minute, angry faces come my way.
And I don't know why the back of my head hurts. Must have drifted to
Cool, man.
So basically, this is AC/DC's Comfortably Numb.
Yeah, probably.
AC/DC, more like Funky DC.
You think it was?
Well, I think AC/DC actually does groove pretty hard.
That's what I was trying to go.
They
for
can
with
do,
that,
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Back in Black.
Wait, this song was influenced by Back in Black?
Yeah.
The song was influenced by Back in Black? No way. Sarcasm, sorry. Sarcasm.
Yeah. It's the same tempo.
And you did the intro.
Yeah.
Did you get the guitar sound from just plugging into an amp?
I used my SG, plugged it into my interface, and used the Marshall amp sound. And then
Perfect. Yeah.
I also doubled it with my Gretsch.
Oh, nice nod to Malcolm.
Which I think I ran through like a Fender amp or something. I'm not entirely sure.
Malcolm had the most gorgeous white Falcon in the early 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Like his yellow one with the pickups ripped off is the famous one. But
Oh, yeah.
During the Back in Black tour, he had a delicious
They're
white
beautiful
Falcon.
way. So the second
Delicious.
verse has the SG doing the lead and the Gretsch doing the rhythm, but in the first verse it's all doubled, so you can't really tell the difference.
Your licks were so Angusy.
Thanks. It's quite good because like I play in this rockabilly band, and Angus Young's very Chuck Berry influenced. He's got a lot of that kind of bluesy rock and rolly kind of licks.
Actually, it's quite interesting because the Stones were influenced by Chuck Berry, and then so were AC/DC, but AC/DC were the next generation. And two very different sounding bands, but with the same influence.
Yeah, no, just heavier. But yeah, I was stoked with how the guitar tones came out. It's the first time I've actually used my SG to make some AC/DC music,
right.
like properly.
True.
I've never heard you sing like that, but you really pulled it off, I think.
Thanks.
If you had just done that way higher, which I know is way more difficult, but I feel like you had the right tone. If you had just done like way higher, it would have been pretty spot on, I reckon.
Yeah, that's about the top of my range, I think. I can't get much higher.
I mean, AC/DC's... Who's the singer in AC/DC?
Brian Johnson.
Yeah, he's just insane, eh? Yeah. And like you can hear his voice start to get fried in some of those. Like, I think Thunderstruck, he starts to like sound more and more like Kermit as it goes on, because his voice just is getting more and more fucked up. Yeah.
See, the thing about Brian is, though, like AC/DC do tours of over 100 shows per tour. Maybe not these days, but his voice would always stay the same level, whereas someone who intentionally destroys his voice like that is Tom Waits, and he never does a tour that's more than a few dozen dates for that specific reason, I think, because he'd just absolutely irreversibly damage his voice.
Right.
Whereas Brian's only had trouble with his hearing, funnily enough, being in a loud band like AC/DC.
I think I'm using a similar technique to what they're doing. It's funny how absolutely insane you sound if it's not in context. Like,
yeah. Absolutely.
like Tanya was just like walking past, giving me weird looks, and I ended up setting up my gear in the lounge room because my studio is sharing a wall with the neighbours, and I was just like getting pretty loud and just just got a bit self-conscious.
Oh, someone got hired in an AC/DC tribute.
Going from that to rapping.
Right.
We're trying to get you evicted.
Yeah.
We really got a real spectrum from you today, didn't we?
Yeah.
One thing about the lyrics, which I thought was very good, you mentioned the phrase rocky waters or something like that. AC/DC songs always talk about rock as a concept, as a lifestyle, and I thought that was quite good that you threw it in there, whether intentional
That was
or not.
intentional, yeah, because they've got
perfect.
heaps of... They just talk about rock music all the time. Rock and
Roll ain't noise pollution.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good song.
For those about to rock,
Yeah.
we salute you.
They have a song just called Rocker as well. Cool. Last song?
Last song. So my prompt, this was from the Eggs. The lyric prompt was lists. It had to have at least 2 keys. So I picked D major, A major.
D major, that's our staple, Adam.
Well, I guess it's more like D Lydian and A Lydian. But yeah, because I didn't really get a genre prompt, I decided to do something that I probably never get asked to do. And it's a 4-minute bass solo.
I was about to interject and say, oh, you don't know, it could be in the tins. No, a 4-minute bass solo was not in the tins as of yet.
So let's have a listen to my 4-minute bass solo called Waiting for the Tears. and I'm waiting for the tears. I'm waiting for the tears, and I'm waiting for the tears, and I'm waiting for the tears, and I'm waiting for the tears. I'm waiting for the tears, and I'm waiting for the tears, and I'm waiting for the tears, and I'm waiting for the tears. I'm waiting for the tears, I'm waiting for the tears, and 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 I'm waiting for the tears. I'm waiting for the tears, and I'm waiting for the tears, and I'm waiting for the tears. I'm waiting for the tears, and I'm waiting for the tears, and I'm waiting for the tears, and I'm waiting for the tears. I'm waiting for the tears, and I'm waiting for the tears. I'm waiting for the tears, and I'm waiting for the tears, and I'm waiting for the tears.
So picture the scene. Your neighbours with Sam. Through the walls, you can hear... And then the next hour, he's spitting fresh raps, and you're like, my God, what's happening in this house? And then you get a call from your friend. It's Adam's mum. You tell her the story, and she goes, oh, I have something that can top that. I came out of my room, and I was wondering where my son Adam was. So I went to the computer room. I went outside, and he was just repeating over and over again, waiting for the tears, Adam, waiting for the tears. And I was like, oh, he must be doing one of those songs. But it went on for 2 minutes. Should I call a doctor?
Well, it went on for 2 hours. No,
Yeah, how many takes of that did you need to...
takes, yeah.
no, I pretty much only did it once.
It was like one of those experiments in audio where you play the same phrase over and over and over again, and you start to focus in on different things, and it's like, man, tears is a really weird word.
You start to hear, like, is he singing about chairs? Is he...
Yeah. I think you've done really well writing the next Adele song.
Oh, thanks.
I can imagine her singing that, but you're the only accompanying instrument.
I don't know much Adele, but she's a good singer.
Well, she does have
Yeah.
quite some, like, sort of slow burner songs, right? Some of them aren't.
This
but-
one was kind of, it was like moody,
Yeah.
and then it got like groovy, which I feel like is something she does.
Yeah, I like how it got a bit of a funkiness to it in that second half.
You
That's
started
cool.
playing rhythm on the bass with like tapping the strings in between the notes, which was really cool. I also like how you did reverb on the bass, because you can't do it normally because it will wash it out. Whereas if it's the only instrument, that's when you can play around with it.
Yeah, I think it gives it a more of a warmness and a kind of songfulness to it.
Atmospheric.
Yeah,
Was that one bass layer or was it two?
just one.
Oh, cool.
That's a style of playing that Adam does
Sounded-
quite a bit.
yeah.
I'm not sure if you remember, Sam, but there's a song called Serenity of a Familiar
Oh, yeah.
Grass, Mosaic93.bandcamp.com.
Definitely remember that. That was
and,
cool.
and Adam plays very similar to that.
Is it sort of... Because I know that Jaco Pastorius plays a bit like that. Is that kind of an influence of the song? Or...
Yeah, I think he's the guy who got me really into playing like tenths on the bass.
Oh, yeah.
And so whenever I do like solo stuff like that, there's always a lot of tenths, and like, yeah, I'd say like when I was about 17, I was like really into him.
Yeah.
And that's when I started getting into like playing tenths, and like, so I'd say, yeah, absolutely.
Sweet. It sounded really complete as an accompaniment. It didn't sound like anything was lacking. It was really cool.
Yeah, it had the bass notes as well as like a counter melody to it.
Yeah, it's kind of something that I've been playing around with for a while, and I thought, oh yeah, this is a good opportunity to like actually do something with it. That's the great thing about this podcast, I find, is like sometimes you can just get old ideas that you're never going to use for anything, and you're never going to finish, and then you can actually like have a chance just to finish them just because. And so this was one of those, I think.
If it fits the prompt,
Nice.
why not give it life? Next prompts, he said with too much energy. We've reached the end of the 9th episode, and we agreed between us that we would do one more before giving ourselves quite an extended break due to our lives, and also we've been doing this for nearly a year now, amazingly, and we have like literally like a few listeners. It's been great.
I thought you were going to say literally like 40 good songs. That's what I
Oh, songs aside, we have very few listeners. So we thought we'd celebrate the end of the season and possibly the show. It'll be sad if we don't get to do it anymore, but I think we'd be very happy with what we've put out. So next episode will be the last one for a while, and it'll be a celebration. We'll look back at some of the songs that we've enjoyed, and for the final prompts, for our first one, I thought it'd be quite a good idea for each of us to redo a song, not necessarily our own if you don't want it to be, but to redo a song from this episode all the way back to the pilot. You can expand on it, you can change one of the prompts, do something with it that'll improve upon it. I know what I'm going to do, but I'll keep it a surprise.
Can we change it and make it worse?
Absolutely, yeah. Speed it up until it's like 30 seconds long and then pitch it down. And then we'll do one prompt each from the tins, which we'll draw out in a moment. But I thought we could do an extra special song just for episode 10 where we draw some prompts from the tins. But next time we see each other, we could all write it and record it together like a happy family.
It sounds lovely.
Does that sound fun?
Yes.
Because if we can't write songs, we can just go out and have a nice foodie meal.
Yeah.
No, it's been a while since we've written together. It's the only thing that I'm a bit worried about is we're so used to writing on our own for the last few years. Not just for this podcast, but for our own material and material together. It'll be interesting to see if we can still write together like we used to in our teens. Do you want me to draw the together one first, or shall we leave it until the end?
Sure, let's draw the together one since it's the...
Together one now? I got the new tins. We are not sponsored by Skittles yet. I have 4 suggestions. 1, 2, 3, or 4. You decide between you.
I'm feeling 3 is a pretty good number.
3... Actually, Ryan, you had Mr. Perrin, eh? Did he ever tell you
I
the
did,
thing
yeah.
about everyone...
This is a maths teacher in high school who was fantastic. Yep.
I remember he gave us a relief lesson one time. That's the only time I ever had him as a teacher. But he told us that you should never use the third cubicle out of 4 because that's the one that everyone goes to. Not saying...
See, that's why I
okay.
always use the first cubicle because it's the one everyone avoids.
Is it because he told you?
No. I just found this out on the internet. Everyone avoids it, and therefore it's the cleanest.
But yeah, I was going to say 3 as well, Adam. But then I thought,
Okay,
should I though?
Oh, no, let's avoid it because
Adam says 3. What would you say, Sam, then?
I would have
If we're
said
avoiding
3,
three.
but then I remembered that.
yeah, you've convinced me. We've got
which-
to avoid number 3.
So Sam, imagine these 4 are toilet stalls. Adam voted for 3. I voted for 1. Sam, what would you pick out of 2 and 4?
Oh, out of 2 and 4, 2.
2? I'll go with the 4th one then, because none of us are using that stall. We'll use the same rule for the lyrics.
Okay.
So, our music prompt is a suggestion from Sam Swindells. It's a musical direction, 50s vibes.
Okay, that'll be
We were
fun.
talking about Chuck Berry,
Yeah.
early rock and roll, maybe some doo-wop.
Who knows?
That's quite cool. And our lyric prompt is also from Sam.
Oh my gosh.
Swindells of Prop Songs.
How often does that happen?
Must make 2 SpongeBob references.
That suits so well.
We're making a Ween song.
That suits so well though, because the whole like surf rock vibe.
True. The background music's like so instrumentally 50s shadows. Oh, this is going to be great. Cool. All right, so that's for all together. Adam, your music prompt for your individual one. I see a different colored pen. It's from yourself.
Oh.
I think I've got about 75% of the ones that have come out of the eggs have been from me, for me.
And I accidentally opened the lyric one instead of the music one. Your lyric prompt is blackmail.
Wow.
Oh.
And your music prompt is from your mother. Shout out to Yvonne. Gary Newman style synth pop
Oh, cool.
Wow, cool.
about blackmail.
Here
keep these
in
there
my
for you.
car, I do not feel safe at all because I'm getting blackmailed and I'm still in my car in cars.
Sam, 2 solos, Swindells. Your artist is from yourself.
Okay.
I'm really looking forward to this already. Simon and Garfunkel.
Oh, okay.
Getting those harmonies in. And your lyric prompt is from me. Do not use the letter E.
Oh my gosh.
Oof.
And
That's a very
the prompt,
popular letter.
yes, that is the most common letter in the English language. And I do have a subject, rain at night. You'll notice doesn't have an E in it. Unless you're using the alternate version of rain.
I
Ah, I see. Like a king's reign at night.
But that's too clever. That's something I'll do in a solo song. Good luck, Sam.
Thanks. Yeah, challenging.
And for me, my genre is from me, and it's ukulele funk. I put that in to try and trip one of you two up, but I shot myself in the foot instead. Yeah, good thing I have an electric ukulele though.
Do you actually?
Yeah, it's that cigar box one that I still haven't played, and I bought it half a year ago.
I don't think I've seen it.
And my lyric prompt is also from Adam's mum. Shout out to Yvonne. Is it just me, or so? I'm basically doing a stand-up routine. Oh dear. I feel like you and I, Sam, have got ones that are going to require more than half an hour of thought.
Yeah. Usually when I do my lyrics, I just set like a timer of 10 minutes and just smash out as much as I can. But I'm going to have to really like piece this one together.
Usually when I do mine, I end up unintentionally making it funny for my own amusement, whereas Yvonne's setup there is like, be funny. And now that there's pressure on me, it's like, oh shit, I don't think I'm actually that funny. Cool. So, recommendations.
Oh, I'll go first. Last month I recommended the album Cross by Justice. I was listening to it on YouTube and I like scrolled down and looked at the comments. And there was this one comment that was something like, I feel bad for Justice. They never managed to have an album that like goes as hard as this one. And so I was like, I wonder what their other albums are like. And so I listened to their second album, which is called Audio Video Disco. And
did this come out before or after Cross?
It came out about 5 years after Cross. And
okay.
To me, it's like way cooler than their... So yeah, that's...
5 years is a good gap between albums, I think, especially if you have a strong first album like that. Usually you get onto a label and they're like, quick, we need you to get another album out because you're the new thing. Whereas bands like Muse take their time, and sometimes like Muse it doesn't work out, but other times if you take your time you can really develop your sound.
Yeah, I feel like because their first album was really funky house music, but it had like dubstep kind of influence, and then I feel like on their second album it's more like rock and funk and disco. It's not as like loud, but it's pretty dang groovy. So yeah, that's what I've been listening to and what I think other people should listen to. Maybe next month I'll recommend their third album.
Cool. A few months ago I listened to a Split Enz tribute album because True Colours just celebrated its 40th anniversary. And the tribute album was quite unique because it was New Zealand and Australian artists covering the album, essentially. And one of the best ones on the album for me was the cover of Nobody Takes Me Seriously, which is a Tim song, which is written very like, I'm angry, nobody takes me seriously. And there's this duo, although maybe they are a five-piece now, but it's a pair of brothers, and they call themselves Lime Cordiale, which is cordial with an E on the end of it. And they turned it into nobody takes me seriously anyway. And it's really chill. And that sound on that song, it's a really good cover. It's one of my favorite covers ever. That really like sums up their sound. It's just chill and laid back, but it's so funky and so well polished. Lately I've been listening to Nobody Takes Me Seriously, plus a lot of their recent singles like Robbery, Money, Inappropriate Behavior. They fucking slap, man. And just this past week when we're recording this, they've released a single with Idris Elba, the actor, called Apple Crumble. And it's such a Aussie and New Zealand song, and it's a vibe, man. So I recommend the band Lime Cordiale. They play around with arrangements. They add horns a lot, and they like to mix and mingle with other musicians, and they just seem so genuine in what they do, and they're very good at what they do. So Lime Cordiale.
Cool. Well, I've got a couple of things. So I've been listening to this album. It's people have mixed like reviews about the ethics of, or mixed ideas about the ethics of posthumous releases, but I think this is a really cool one.
It depends.
Yeah.
It depends. If the artist had made the album beforehand and they couldn't release it due to like the label refused to release it, or they had finished it and they had died before it was released, I'm all for it. Whereas if it's like songs the artist didn't release on purpose, then it's a grey area.
Yeah. Well, anyway, there's this album, or it's like a four-track EP that's just been released, and it's by Ray Charles, and it's called Country. And it's him singing 4 like country songs, and it's actually really nice. I can see probably why he didn't release them, because they're not like as good as his main stuff, but it's still like Ray Charles. He's freaking amazing.
Yeah, did he do much country when he was alive and kicking?
I haven't heard much. He was more like R&B.
Because
soul.
Yeah, I'd assume that would be too out of character, if you get what I mean.
But he's not.
Like
he's singing.
Maybe
it,
they thought it was too much of a brand risk.
He's singing it in his voice, though. It's just like the songs are more country songs.
Maybe a producer redid the vocals with a new backing track.
No, it sounds pretty like live. There's a cool version of Ring of Fire that he does.
Oh, real? Man.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Speaking of country.
And then Take These Chains From My Heart, Together Again, and Crying Time. Those are the 4 tracks. The backing vocals are so nice. They sound like from a Disney movie kind of thing. It's really cool. And the other one is, the other album that I've been listening to a bit is the Jamie Reimagined, which is Brittany Howard's Jamie album. But it's so every song has been rearranged by a different artist. And there's a cool version of Stay High by Childish Gambino that I really like. And Tomorrow by Bad Bad Not Good. Bad Bad Not Good is always a good band to listen to, but like their version of that song's really cool. Some of them are a bit meh, but like there's some really awesome versions on there.
Cool. So a lot to work on for what will hopefully be a very epic final episode. If you're listening, thanks for listening as far as you have. We really do appreciate it. Depending on how life plays out in the next while, this might be the last episode, the one coming next. But we'd all like to carry on at some stage, I think. So yeah, we'll celebrate this past season and all the work we've done with this next episode.
Yeah. Woohoo! Thanks for listening, everyone. Hey, maybe we should just get drunk over recording it. Have a party.
Should we do a drunk episode?
That's it for this episode. To access lyrics and photos from the recording of this show, or just to stay updated with releases and relevant news, please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or Reddit. Your support and feedback is much appreciated, so leave us a comment on what you enjoyed, or send in a prompt of your own that you would like one or all of us to tackle. Thanks for listening. Catch you next time. Brum Songs Podcast is the independent work of Ryan Eddie Hale, Adam Riddell, and Sam Swindells. All music featured is original, and all relevant rights belong to those parties. Brum Songs Podcast is the independent work of Ryan Eddie Hale, Adam Riddell, and Sam Swindells. All music featured is original, and all relevant rights belong to those parties.